Hi, Recap fans. Glad to have you back. And it's come to my attention that there's been some confusion about where I live. And I think I know I've contributed to that confusion. The fact is, I live in a place called Morris Township. Now, Morris Township completely encircles the town of Morristown. So Morris Township is kind of like a donut, and it's got a 3 square mile hole in the middle of the donut, and that 3 square miles happens to be Morristown. Now, both of these places were settled in the 18th century, and they went through a bunch of legal gymnastics in the 19th century to carve Morristown out from Morris Township. Now, the people in Morristown tend to act as if, they're living on Fifth Avenue or Park Avenue, and the rest of us are out in Queens or the Bronx. And, they go around, they're bragging about the fact that Peter Dinklage, the guy who played Tyrion on Game of Thrones, comes from Morristown. Where the most famous guy from Morris Township is a guy named Warren Bobrow, who you may have heard of. He's known as the cocktail whisperer. But anyway, you've got this pride on the part of Morristown residents, and I'm not sure it's completely warranted. So to check it out, what I did was I took a look at a thing that both areas have. They each have a dump. They're both politically correct, and they refer to the dumps as recycling centers, but you and I know them as dumps. So I went and I took a look. Here's my report. I'm outside the Morristown dump. It's right next to me, and it's wide open, and I don't know what these people have to brag about. I mean, the thing is, you've got to show identification, you've got to show proof of residency, a COVID-19 shot card in order to get in there. But once you get in there, it's nothing. And by the way, when you're in there, they don't want any photography or video. So I really don't know what they've got to brag about. This is the Morris Township dump over behind me. And I'll tell you what, it's less than a mile, but less than a mile away from the Morristown dump. But I'll tell you what, it's a million miles away in terms of friendliness and everything else. Number one, you just drive in. Number two, they got a greeter who is just a really friendly guy. Tells you where the different carts are. You throw your stuff in. Full access to video, photography, anything you want in there. And I'll tell you what, I think the Township of Morris is rightly proud of their dump. Now, why Morristown residents go around bragging about their dump is beyond me. I think they should be ashamed. I think we're rightly proud of our dump. Yeah, maybe you've got Tyrion of the Lannisters from Morristown, but I would say our dump, to me, it's far superior. But I don't want to run down Morristown residents, because Morristown actually has some really good stores. And I'll tell you what, one of those stores is the source for this week's food review. Here we go. Morristown's got a lot of great stores, and there's been one that I've really been meaning to try, and it's a grilled cheese store. You ever hear of that? Me neither. So here I am, I've got my Diet Coke, and I went to the grilled cheese store. With your order, they give you chips. I got Fritos this time. And I ordered a bacon, cheese, and tomato grilled cheese sandwich. So here it is. And I don't know if you can see it. It's a pretty big sandwich. It's really big, looks good, golden brown, perfect color on the bread. And let's see what we got here. Well, the first bite was mainly bread and cheese, and I hate to say it, but there's a fair amount of grease in this. Now, let's take this. I'm going to snag some tomato and bacon here. Very, very nice job. I think I would prefer it if the cheddar were a little sharper, but so far so good. Now let's see how Fritos goes with it. That's good. Now the grilled cheese store also features grilled peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. I could have gotten a cup of tomato soup or a cup of macaroni and cheese with this, but this is enough for lunch. Anyway, try another bite. Well, I would recommend, if you're in Morristown, give the grilled cheese store a shot. I mean, you are going to agree with me that it's a little bit greasy, but you're also going to say they do a pretty nice job with grilled cheese sandwiches. All right? That's this week's food review. Okay, so you may have the grilled cheese store, but if you want to go to Lowe's, you got to go into Morris Township. So I hope that clarifies the issue of where it is I live. It's Morris Township, not Morristown. I'm going to continue to refer to it as Morristown for simplicity, and also, you know, it's associated with the Revolutionary War and so on. So I maybe there's a little bit of confusion. Maybe you don't really care, but I want to make sure that the information that you get from this news show is the best, most accurate news you can get. And that's this week's report. Everybody hang in, have a good weekend. See you next week.